Hi guys, welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking teaching, big career changes, motherhood, gym and everything in between with my good friend and PT Gill Wilson. How are we?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure.
That was a nice wee drop in the DM. I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. I'm up for that.
How are you today, Gill?
Yeah, good.
Looking forward to this?
Yeah, I am. Obviously a little bit nervous. Haven't done it before, but I'm also very excited. So
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So,
Take
me back to the start. So, obviously, you used to be a teacher.
I did.
Talk me through how you get into that.
Yeah, so, I did my first degree, TV and film, believe it or not, and then went and did a postgrad in teaching. Nice. So, finished that up, went into primary teaching, worked my way through, right up to principal teacher, and then I was a PT, principal teacher, not personal trainer. Yes. So I've kind of gone PT.
We
so still kind of have my wee, right up until just November last year, actually. And then I went part-time. So, yeah, that's where that was at.
What did life look like for you back then?
Oh, so I think there's a wee bit of an underestimation of how much work teachers actually do. I think a lot of people, unless you know a teacher or you live with a teacher,
I know a few, to be fair.
Well, there you go. So you'll know it's not the 9 to 3, yes. Right? It's just that wee bit more than that, and it is heavy. It's not just the work with the kids. That's the lovely part, watching kids coming in and the progress that they're going through and working with their families. But it's the planning that you do, all the extracurricular stuff that you do in your life is really, really busy. And I guess because I also had 2 young kids at the time as I was working through, it was just that juggle of kind of spinning plates.
Yeah. Talk about that overworking then, because I had my good friend Scott on a little while back, and he'd spoke about that in terms of, it's not just that, as you say, that 9 to 3, it's everything else that goes into it. It's the staying up late marking, it's the getting up early and preparing, it's the in-between classes getting ready. There's just it almost seems like there's so much more.
Yeah, it's a lot more as a teacher, and I think as I've sort of gone through the career, you'd always take that bag home with you, right? It was this bag full of marking, right? And then it would come back with the next day, and let's be honest, half of it hadn't been done because you'd gone home and got into your home life and your kids and making the packed lunches or whatever you had to do. But it's similar to actually things you need to do now of kind of setting your boundaries a little bit. And I think when you're a newly qualified teacher, that's a wee bit harder to do. You want to say yes to absolutely everything because you want to look like you're keen. Jobs are few and far between when it comes to teaching these days, so you want to show that you're willing to go above and beyond, but it is just about drawing a line at some point and saying, do you know what, I need to look after myself, I need to look after my health, and in turn everyone else around me, so here's my cut-off point, and prioritise what you need to prioritise, and then move on to the other wee bits, if that makes sense.
No, completely, and obviously being in education means you're obviously constantly guiding, motivating people. You're looking back, what lessons did teaching give you about resilience, working with people that you still kind of carry into, obviously your PT and coaching career? Yeah,
exactly. And I think resilience is a really big one actually, and I think it's a sort of buzzword that's come up, particularly post-COVID, particularly in the education sector, because resilience is something that we're having to teach our children now, and I guess also adults as well, because we became very insular, everything was like done on our own, and that social aspect was kind of gone. And we're having to reteach ourselves through it. I'm rambling, sorry.
No, you're doing fine.
I think, from you're working with pupils, so obviously in a classroom, you've got a set of kids and some of them will find things a little bit harder than others, and you'll need to put a lot of strategies in place to be able to support them. Same applies, I guess, actually, when it's coming into your personal training. You've got people coming to you from all different walks of life with all different kind of experiences, and the amount of support that they need and to be resilient and to try things that they've not done before, to put even just everyday habits in place. It's kind of the same, I guess, in a way, just with an adult instead of a child.
And you talk about they're trying new things. Now obviously there would have been a moment or maybe a build up of moments where you thought teaching's not quite for me anymore. What was that moment, or what was the build up of moments?
I think it wasn't that it wasn't for me anymore. It was just getting a little bit more of the work-life balance. I've always loved working with the children, and also like the staff that I worked with. We had a really strong team. But as my children got older and they were going into secondary school, I was running about all over the place the days that they were with me and not with their dad. And I was like, hang on, I've actually got another wee sort of side hustle going on here with teaching classes and things. I think I can create a little bit more of a balance with that. And that's when I decided to pull back on the principal teacher role. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked it, but it wasn't for me my time to the effort in terms of then what I could bring at home, if that makes sense. So it was about striking a little bit more of that balance, I guess.
Balance is so important, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know what?
totally,
I find myself struggling with it, personally, and me and Stu have had loads of conversations in terms of how much balance you need in life. Like, sometimes you feel like you just get that perfect balance. Other times you feel like, what is balance? Yeah. You must feel the same.
Oh, totally. And something can just throw you a complete curveball. And then you're like, oh, hang on, I've got to redo that whole timetable or move that situation all over again, whether it's something that comes up with the kids or, I don't know, just things happen in life, I guess, that mean your priorities need to shift a little bit. And mine did need to shift also for my own health too. So that was when really I was like, right, okay, I can make a change here and go for it.
And you did. And obviously leaving that secure career and teaching, going to become a coach, massive leap. What was it? You said obviously talk about being a mother and kids too. Was that was the kids gave you the courage, or was it where did the courage come from?
Truthfully, so what actually happened was I dropped my remit, went part-time from November. I was really grateful to the school for allowing that kind of situation to happen, and then in January they announced voluntary redundancies or redundancy packages as such. And honestly, initially I was like, oh shit, I've just gone part-time, like, what am I going to do? Like, you've got that whole like panic, everything's going on in your head. Everything's going on in your head. You're like, I've just done this, I've kind of just got that balance. And I then sort of sat and thought about it. And I'm talking obviously to all the other teachers and what their thoughts on it are. And I'm like, do you know what? There's something else I actually love to do. I'm already doing it. Let's see this as an opportunity. Let's flip it round and go full pelt in and throw myself in. And at the same time, the gym that I'd been training in myself, we sort of started having little chats, and then it turned out that they'd be looking for someone kind of come the summer, so it felt a wee bit serendipitous, if I'm honest. I know that sounds a bit like kind of out there, like, and Roshi had asked if I could do more classes, and I was like, do you know what? I'm doing it. This is going to be an opportunity. Here we go. Let's turn the narrative here and go for it.
You talk about turning that narrative, because I imagine there would have been probably a few people, and naturally so, that questioned giving up that teaching job. Why would you do that? Secure to then going into this unpredictable world. How did you handle that kind of pushback, feedback?
So I think generally it's more out of concern for you, isn't it, than actually a pushback. Are you sure you're doing the right thing? Are you sure this is what you want to do? And then when I explained, or I guess the people that know me really well, when they see that actually this is my passion, so something that started as, that I really enjoyed, that I then took into start as the career, they realise, that I'm in it and I'm doing my research and I'm like building up my client base, and they start to see it, they're like, right, okay, here we go. Truthfully, it was probably more a bit of the older generation when they think but that's your profession, what about your pension and what about like those kind of things. But at the same time, I just explained where I was at, and then most people generally were really supportive. My friends were amazing, my family were amazing, and they kind of said, do you know what, Gill, we've got your back, can see why you're going for this, like, go for it, let's do it. If anyone's going to do it, then like, we can see it's going to be you. They were like, so why not? So in a way, I guess I was like, right, okay, I can't let them down now, because they're totally supporting me. There's no going back. So,
and something about you is your energy. You've always got such good energy when you come in and I see you in here, and even outside here, you're always so positive, and I think that's obviously massively helped you in that transition. Is that energy, that positivity, is that a couple of skills or traits from teaching that you've took into coaching? Is there other things that you've transferred across? I think there's actually probably quite a lot of teaching skills that I've taken over with me. Obviously I have really good whiteboard writing skills, but that's like a really important one. Mine's just terrible, by the way. Don't ever get me right. I'm like getting my nice writing on the board. I do get slagged for that, by the way, but no, apart from that, I think there's quite a few things. And obviously as a teacher, you're pretty empathetic towards like pupils' circumstances and the families that you're working with. And then when you switch out to coaching, what I've realised actually is that you're doing exactly the same, but with the adults that you're working with. The communication's so key. So energy's got to be there. Like, don't get me wrong, particularly in like Group X. Like, I mean, you've seen the outfits I've put on for some
to bring a bit of joy.
The Pride one was a personal highlight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, oh my word, like that was, I can't believe I drove here in that and home in it. Can you imagine if my car broke down? I'm in like a bright red leotard with like this.
Side of the road.
Yeah, oh hi, how you doing? Like at 7 a.m. But yeah, I would say like empathy, your communication, and also what I'm realising is how much, like, so as a teacher you do a lot of research, you're planning all the time, you're differentiating all the time for different levels, and that's exactly the same in coaching. When a class comes into you, everyone's at a different level, everyone's come from a different place, and you know, you need to differentiate to be able to accommodate for that. And in terms of planning and research, like in teaching, you're continuously refreshing and seeing what's coming in and what's going to work for your pupils, you know, whether that's like the planning or the assessment, and you do the same as a coach. You're like planning and checking that you're
very
up to date. Totally transferable skills, making sure you're up to date and stuff, and that you're providing the best possible service, I guess, like for your clients. As well as being a former teacher, a former principal, now coach, PT, Group X, you know, instructor, you know, the resume goes on. You're also a single mum, mum of two. What was it like trying to balance raising kids, obviously being a single mum through that time and through that kind of career change? So the career change obviously is kind of like naturally progressed very recently, and I'm fortunate that my kids are a wee bit older now. They're teenagers, so they're a bit more independent. It does come with different challenges. People say to you all the time, is it a bit easier now they're older? I'm like, oh my good God, no. It's just different. Don't be daft. Like, it's just different. But I'm really fortunate that I have a really good support network behind me. So family, friends, personal life, you know, people that I do have there. But I would say, yes, it is a little bit of a juggle. There's no denying any of that, particularly when they were younger. It was really hard. But they do go and spend time, you know, with their dad. And that means that I then have my time, which, by the way, I'll be really honest, I found really hard initially.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Genuinely, like, see, when they first started going away, I didn't know what to do with myself.
Because your life's so built around
built around the kids, and I was like, I know this sounds ridiculous, right? But I was like, who am I? Like, who actually, like, am I? And, you know, that was actually, truthfully, that point, they were really wee, was when I started to get into my fitness more.
What did I do with my time, and you filled it with the fitness stuff?
Totally, because it wasn't just the fitness, it was the mental health, everything. You know, what that encompassed, I guess, in terms of providing that support for myself throughout that time.
I've got massive respect for yourself in that, because obviously, you know, my mum, single mum, raised me. You know, obviously you're raising two, mum raised myself. You know, she would say that I was like two at points, to be honest. You know, so it's a massive respect, and obviously a lot to juggle. Was it the practical side of time and energy, or was it more the mental side of trying to do it all that was the toughest part?
I think as a parent, and I think most mums, parents would agree, you have a lot of guilt sometimes that you're not always there, or you're not always doing something, but actually just being as present as you can for your children is the best that you can do. And I would say practically the juggle of like just trying to make sure that you've got the school runs covered, that you're organised for them for the day ahead. Yeah, that's hard. Two of them, I would say, are kind of go in tandem. There's not one that's harder than the other. It depends what age they're at, how much they actually need you, and I guess also what you've kind of got going on at the time. So now it's that wee bit easier. Although honestly, like, I'll get calls on mid-class, Mum, can you come pick me up? No, I'm working. Are you working from home? I'm like, even if I'm working from home, I'm still working. And they're like, right, okay. So yeah, and so you're kind of dotting about all over the place. I'm basically a taxi now.
No, it's
you know?
Good taxi.
But I'm not
reliable,
complaining.
Though.
Yeah,
5-star.
That's it, thanks. Well, they might complain about my tunes, but they're like, don't sing, don't make it weird.
Beggars can't be choosers.
If I'm like picking someone up, I'm like, hang on a minute, if I'm in my car, I can sing. See if they tell me not to do it, I want to do it more.
Quite right. But, in terms of, obviously, your kids, watching yourself, you know, a lot of them will have a massive amount of respect for you, and especially even maybe watching and listening to you now. What do you hope they take away from watching you transfer over and build a new kind of chapter in your life?
Oh, so this is where I'll get emotional, because I was doing a silly thing with my daughter the other day, and she'll probably kill me for saying that. But it was like those things where, like, don't forget to ever ask your kids these questions. And she said one of the questions was someone that inspires you. And she said, oh, it needs to be you, Mum.
Oh,
and I went,
nice.
what? And she's like, because you've just gone for it. You've decided to make this change and you've just gone for it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I want them to know that, see if they don't know what they want to do now, they'll find their way.
Yep.
Whatever journey that may be, I've just turned 40 and I've changed my career. So just keep one foot forward in front of the other and know that I'm right behind your back and you can make a change in your life whenever you want to.
No, that's
basically.
amazing. That's all you can do, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is a, obviously myself, not a parent yet, but I always think support is the biggest thing I think you can do, is always be there for them, support them, give them the best possible opportunities, and it seems like you've done that.
And their happiness has to come first.
100%.
Like everything else will fall into place. Like your mental health and your mental well-being for me is paramount.
Yep.
So whatever road you end up, whatever path you end up going down, whether that chops and changes and turns, fine.
Yep.
Behind you no matter what.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
Moving on to something else, something that I must thank you for being able to open up today in terms of that, but was your journey with alopecia.
Yeah.
Obviously something you've not spoke about massively, but I think obviously we were both in agreement off camera that it's important to talk about these things, because it shouldn't be the elephant in the room. It's just openly talk about it, because everybody goes through it. Can you take us back to when that first started, and what was that experience like for you emotionally?
Yeah, I can do. It was actually like nearly, over 14 years ago it started. And you're right, I haven't ever spoken about it, but I'm really open with my friends and really open with my family, and even more so as time has gone on. So it kind of felt like this was the right time, I guess, to be able to open up. So thanks for the opportunity as well. But yeah, so I had two very, very young children, obviously going through a difficult time, and my hair all fell out. Now I'm talking the full kabuna, by the way, like no hair in the head, the eyebrows, the eyelashes, the whole lot. And it was one of those moments where emotionally, it was really, really difficult. But I had amazing friends behind me who, when I felt like shit, would turn up, and I'd be like, oh, I don't want to go out. They were like, no, you're coming out. And I'm like, I don't want to come out. So for example, they would come in, I will never forget, it was Christmas, we were meant to be going on our Christmas night out, and I just was not feeling it. Like its bits had started to regrow, and then it all came back out again, probably just with the stress of everything. And they came in, and at that time I wore wigs, so I'd gone with like the same kind of colour of hair that I'd had before. So they were like that, right, let's try them on. Right? So we all got a little bit merry, shall we say.
Yeah.
All the wigs came out, we sat round the kitchen table, like we all had them on, killing ourselves laughing. And I was just like, very fortunate.
Made you feel better?
Totally.
Yeah.
Like I had people at my back. So yes, it was a really hard time. And then as the years went on, my hair started to grow back in. Got a wee pixie do. And it's kind of been on and off since then, if I'm totally honest. At the minute, it is not great. I'm fortunate for my hairdresser who puts extensions in, but recently she wasn't even able to put them back in. So, but nowadays there's so many things you can do. But equally, I mean, not to blow my own trumpet, right, but I've got quite a nice shaped head. So if it goes that way, then, we'll just have to go that way, and we'll need to go with it for now. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say I'll feel amazing all the time. But equally, that's how it is, and I'm still healthy. It's just that my body's decided to attack my hair. So.
How dare it?
I know.
Listen, you talk about flipping a narrative, across different parts of your life, that you've been through already. When did you start seeing the alopecia as part of your story and your strength, rather than something that it was, holding you back?
Yeah, I would say I see it as part of my story. Whether I'm strong with it all the time, I'd probably be lying if I said I am all the time. I'm probably stronger in the way that I will talk about it and be open about it. But the last time I was at the hairdresser's, I honestly sat in floods, because she was like, I'm not sure I can put these back in, Jill. This is where it's at. I'll have a really good bubble about it. And then I'll turn and I'll go, right, okay, you have a choice here. We all have a choice, right? And the kind of things that we're going to allow to affect us. So my choice is I wallow in it. I feel really rubbish about myself. I see it as defining who I am as a person. Or I accept that that's how it is, and I'll embrace whichever way it goes. And I'm trying to make sure that that's the route that I'm taking mentally. So because I have well, as you know, like we were spoken about, I've got 2 kids, I've got a job, I've got a really happy, lovely life and personal life. So I just don't want it to be that that's defining me. And there's been a few situations recently, honestly, where see if this had happened 14 years ago, like I left spin the other day, right? And I used dark dry shampoo to cover up the patches in my hair. And obviously you sweat quite a bit in a spin.
Yes.
And I hadn't quite used instructor gears. So I was like coming out the class, like walking up, and Meg comes up to me, she's like, Jill, she went, you have something in your face. I went, have I? I was like, all right, what is it? She went, no, I think you should go to the toilet. I, no word of a lie, had smeared the dark dry shampoo all over my face. It was dripping down my neck because I'd sweated so much. And I got in the car and I thought, do you know what? See, before I would have totally panicked over that. And see, now I'm like, oh well.
Is what it is.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, but I guess it comes with age as well, and maturity, and just having to have dealt with it for so long. And yeah,
you know, you speak about obviously having all those positive aspects in your life. And really, I think it is dead easy, you know, to focus on the negative stuff in life, because the negative stuff can seem so big sometimes. And, you know, I'm talking from personal experience as well. You can see a small thing and think, God, but you know, you sometimes need to kind of look at it as a whole and go, you know, I'm healthy, I'm alive, you know, I've got, as yourself, you've got a lovely family, loving family as well, you know, you've got a job you're doing that you love, you know, there's a lot of people in life that don't have those things, you know, and it's very easy to sit from where you are and think, oh, I've not got this and that, but there's other people that haven't even got what you've got.
Exactly.
And I think that's what you said about flipping the narrative, half glass full type thing. That's what you seem to do and carry it through.
And don't get me wrong, everyone will have their moments of feeling upset, like what you're saying. In those moments, you're like, oh, this is bad. And there's always going to be someone, I guess, that's like, you know, that worst off way. But I think, you know, everybody has their own stuff going on. Like, and I think from a coaching point of view, it's remembering that as well. Not everyone will walk into that gym when, you know, they're coming in the same headspace as they've been the day before, and I'm the same with this situation. I'll turn it as positively as the best I can. Will I cry about it? Yes, I will. Because
everybody's allowed to cry.
I'm only human, right? And also that's normal. I think if I didn't, then I'd actually be more worried about myself.
Just stone cold.
Like, I have no emotion.
And you are very open, and do you find that clients, you know, you talk about your clients there, do they open up to you more because you're very such an open person, an open book, if you like?
It's interesting because one of my clients very recently said to me, oh, that's the thing with you, Jill, I know you get it. So I think they do, to be honest, and it's just bearing that in mind. And obviously for me, because I always say, listen, whatever you tell me stays with me. It's that confidentiality for the clients too, for them to make them feel that they can speak to me. And I'm realising actually more and more, the more that I'm PTing, the more people are like opening up. And I guess they have commented, I didn't realise that you used to hate PE. I didn't realise that you'd lost this amount of weight. It really makes me think that I can do it. So definitely, I think it's just being honest with them, like about the journey, and that it's not linear. It's not always easy, but you can do it. Honesty
is the best policy at the end of the day.
100%.
You know, it's an overused phrase, if you like, but
I know.
But it is true. In terms of your overall philosophy, you know, if we go into the kind of fitness, well-being, food, lifestyle, balance, what is your overall philosophy when it comes to health?
I think when it comes to health, for me, it's about looking at your health and looking after yourself for longevity. So as cheesy as it sounds, it's like when you're coming into later life, making sure that you have the mobility and the ability to be able to do things that you love and enjoy. So, and I'm not just talking about physically, obviously mentally as well. Like when I was a principal teacher, my remit was health and wellbeing. Like I wrote the programmes for the school, and it was a massive, massive passion for me, for the pupils and the staff actually. But for me, we know as we age, our bone density and our muscle mass depreciate. So it is making sure that we're offsetting that as much as we can, but also as we're getting older, making sure that we're doing as much as we can to prevent things. Like very recent study actually, even in terms of like cancers and type 2 diabetes, that those who are exercising are very much lowering, you know, their chances of getting these, or if they have, the recovery. One in particular, in terms of like colon cancer, they did like a study, a big group of people over a few years, And those who were exercising had a much longer survival rate and better recovery. So, you know, we're talking here about looking after ourselves physically, but to be able to do that obviously mentally as well. And I know the impact that mental health can have, physical exercise can have on mental health. So it's that kind of encompassing health overall, you know, across the board for me, really, more than just the exercising.
Just the exercising, because it's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
You spoke there about obviously the physical aspect having a massive impact on the mental aspect.
Definitely.
And you've started obviously with your coaching career, you know, setting out to create this really nice and positive environment. You've recently created Pilates and Prosecco.
And pizza, don't forget the pizza.
Sorry, pizza, Pilates and Prosecco. I can't believe I've done you that. I can't believe I've done you that.
I know, right?
Shocking. Where did that idea come from? Talk us through that.
Oh man.
Is it just because you love pizza?
Well, I do
and
love
Prosecco?
pizza. I mean, who doesn't love a pizza, right? Like, I did say Prosecco or Prosecco, you know, so it's like we're kind of like covering all bases here.
I actually don't think I've met anyone that doesn't like pizza.
No, I don't
I'd be
think
interested
I've
to
met
know
anyone that
somebody
doesn't
that doesn't
like
like
pizza. No, I mean, why would you not love a pizza?
Yeah,
like,
I know it's a strange one,
you
but
know,
there'll be somebody out there somewhere.
There will be someone out there. They've obviously not booked my event though, because that would be weird, right? Coming and being like, promo. I'm just here for the Pilates. I'm like, that's great, that's awesome. So I think for me, it's like, so I went on a fitness holiday, right? A good while back. You'll have seen that on Instagram. It was a big turning point for me, actually. But it was more than just the fitness side. So it was like the good food. It was like sharing things together. And I've been to a few events and really, really enjoyed them. So for me, it was about bringing people who might not have ordinarily come together for something through exercise, but also the love of food. And just making it a bit of fun. Yeah. You know, sort of break down the barriers a wee bit here. Let's take the fear out of maybe someone who wouldn't have gone to the Pilates, but now they're like, oh, hang on a wee minute, I can have a Prosecco with that. I'm going to give that a badge.
Or a Prosecco.
Yeah, or a Prosecco. And don't worry, we'll eat after, because that would be a bit weird.
I think that's what everybody trains. I'd be hard stung to find somebody that says they don't enjoy food and they train as hard as they do. Yeah. Like you do. I mean, the train to eat and eat to train is very much a debate, but you know, I very much train to eat. Yeah. Personally, but you know, I don't know what your thoughts are.
My food is fuel. That's how I like to view it. And I think for me, it's not seeing any foods as bad foods and trying to get a much more positive view on it. Yeah. You know, I speak to clients quite a lot. I had a really bad weekend. I'm like, why was that a bad weekend? Tell me. And it'll be like, oh, I ate this and this. I'm like, who were you with? Oh, I was with family. Amazing. I said, so that's not bad then. I mean, what we do now is like, you know, where we're stepping forward with something is where it's at, but we can be accountable for all of that. Because those times are precious, they're important. Yep. You know, don't get me wrong, it's not like I say all the time, it's not like we've gone to the all-inclusive and eaten the whole goddamn buffet, right? That's not what I'm meaning. Yes. Like, we still have some kind of idea of keeping ourselves accountable, but yeah, food is fuel. That's my view. Yeah,
and blending fun and community with fitness, as you've done with pizza, Pilates and Prosecco. Yeah. You know, works so well. How do you think that is?
I think it's because, particularly now, there's a wee shift socially on where people want to spend their time. So you'll see more things like book clubs popping up, but it's not you're sitting in your front room anymore. There's that social element. Run clubs, you know, are starting to become more a thing in track. So I do like the run club on a Sunday, easier said than run. Yeah. I even had to do like a vote for the name on that one. I quite liked, what was it? Scrambled legs and coffee. But we weren't going to have any eggs, so I was like, maybe not. Scrambled legs. So I think it just, you know, it's the stats out there actually in terms of how people are lonely, right? Really good charity. I absolutely love them, called Headstrong Minds. They work in Glasgow. Brian Costello, he heads that up. He did a post very recently actually about lonely adults. And it's still, again, off the back of COVID. I can't believe we're still raising the word COVID, but people think we're done with it. But actually, like, we're not. We're still dealing with the aftermath, like, socially, of where that's at. So if you can bring fitness into something, let people experience it in something else that they're already comfortable with, great. Because what's then going to happen after that? They're going to want to do it more. Yeah. And you're bringing people together to do something fun. You know, not just physically, but working socially together, and I guess just building that community, or lots of different communities. Because what's happened now, I do a trail run Tuesday just for fun. After here, I'll be heading off for Trail Run Tuesday. A few people have met, and they were like, "Is Trail Run Tuesday on today?" But they've messaged someone else, and then it just happens.
Yeah, it's little connections that's kicking about all over the place.
Exactly, and if you can alleviate a little bit of like loneliness in some people, like by creating something and letting them come along, then amazing.
Yeah, with that ethos you're talking about in terms of building those connections, I think what you're doing and what you are going to do, from just what you're talking about to me, because obviously we've actually never even sat down and had this chat, but I think I can see already how big you're going to be, and you need to keep doing what you're doing just now.
Hope so.
Generally, like
Thanks,
you should, because
it
really sounds like you've got a really clear vision in terms of what you want to do.
Yeah.
So you're wanting to build almost different little communities.
Yeah.
And almost that they're all again transferable across. Like, whoever goes to Pizza, Pilates and Prosecco could go to the Trail Run Tuesdays, could go to your formerly scrambled legs, but it's I love scrambled legs. I don't know why.
No,
but
I liked it too, but I did a vote and that one came out
trumps.
trumps.
I know.
And I was like, I need to get t-shirts for the back, like easier said than run club.
So that's what I'm saying. You can go between any three of them, and I think it's really important that. So keep doing that. As a coach, do you get more satisfaction from helping individuals reach goals, or from building a sense of community like we talked about? Or a wee mixture?
I think a mix.
Yeah.
I don't think I could choose the two. So for example, my poor client, she did a pull-up the other day. We've been doing a lot of work building up to these, right? And I got so excited, like when it happened. I was like, yes! And I made her laugh too much. She couldn't finish her set. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like,
you got overlaid.
I got like overlaid. And she went, no. She was like, Jill, that made me feel so great. Like, thanks. And then like when I'm doing the community stuff and then these people are brought together, but to be honest, the two equally, I love separate and then together. All my clients are in a group, so they're part of the Gill Wilson fitness community. They might not always meet, but they are there together. So I couldn't choose one over the other, to be honest.
No, that's pretty fair. I think I think every coach, every PT's every PT and coaches get different. As I said, ethos or different goals in mind in terms of what they want. Some are really, as I said, target driven. Some just enjoy that sense of community. So I don't think there's any right or wrong.
No.
In terms of the future, looking ahead, what's next for Gill Wilson Fitness? Are there new projects coming up that you can tell us about, or do we just need to keep an eye out? Or what's
Definitely need to keep an eye out. So that Pilates event sold out in less than 24 hours.
Amazing.
And there's 12 people on the wait list. So it was kind of, I'm like, right, okay, there's definitely an area here where this is something that's going to be of interest. So yes, another one of them is already in the pipeline.
Excellent.
As well as hopefully into next year branching out. So thinking about the communities that I have. So like what you're talking about, the running, the Pilates, and then thinking about the mental health thing. I've started the process for a little bit of a wellbeing festival, but it is very, very early days. So that's going to be a keep your eye out situation.
Do you feel like the Pilates event, do you feel like that's inspired you to go, actually I can do more, I can do bigger things than this?
Definitely. I think it's probably given me the confidence to be able to do it.
Is a word I was going to use, confidence?
Yeah, it's definitely given me the confidence to be able to do it, and I'm so lucky because the guys at Core, they're honestly amazing. They were just like, let's do it, go for it, Jill. So that one's happening. Another wee thing in the pipeline, and then obviously stuff into next year. But just sort of building up the client base, I guess, as time's going on, because obviously it was part-time for me, and now it's the full-time gig. So do
you notice big differences between part-time and full-time?
Do you know what? I think the big thing for me is kind of been setting my boundaries. I think I said Tuesday's my day off, and I'm like, Tuesday is my day off. Like you make sure that you're
that
kind
balance
of doing
that. Quite right at the start.
Yeah, absolutely, making sure you're doing it. So no, it's just a completely different timetable. My time was very much like I say 9 till 3 for school, but it wasn't. You would work above that, but this is your playtime, this is your lunch. Like even by the way your tummy becomes accustomed to it. I'm like, it must be 20 to 11 because my stomach's grumbling. Like it's playtime. So yeah, it's just like, it's different time, but I have more flex.
Yeah, it's being organised, isn't it? I think,
Yeah.
you know, you said there, you know, making sure at a certain time you're doing, like Tuesday, I'm taking Tuesday off.
Yeah.
I think it's important, and I don't know if you tell your clients this, but, you know, when you set yourself a task to do something, you know, whether that's eat breakfast or train, or eat lunch, I don't know, drink water, could be go as simple as you like.
Yeah.
It's important people stick to that, in your opinion? As much as possible?
I think as much as possible. I think what I'd be doing is sticking to making sure that you're, like, again, using your food as fuel, so that you are getting enough food in, enough protein, enough balance in your diet, like across all the macros, etc., to be able to make sure that you're fueling your body properly. But I have a lot of shift workers, so like a few of my clients are shift workers. Some of them, you know, work a lot of evenings. So for me to be able to say, like, oh, you need to do this at this time, they would struggle to be able to do that. So we work with where they're at, and things will have to change depending on, you know, like their shift pattern, or if they've got kids, or like, or, do you know what, John, my kids are sick, I'm not going to be able to fit that in. So I'll work really close with my clients to say, right, okay, we might not get this in, so this is what we're going to take out to be able to make you still feel like you're working towards your goals, and kind of supporting them with that.
Yeah. If you could go back, you know, before the fitness, before the personal trainer, go back to that principal teacher.
Yeah.
Hesitant about making that leap. What advice would you give yourself if you could speak to yourself?
If I could speak to myself then, don't fear it, go for it. Change doesn't happen in staying in the now, it only happens by taking action. So just go for it, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess just embrace it. It's grand.
Yeah. It's funny because you were like, I didn't really think about the interview before I came in. It seems like that was proper off the...
No, I know, well, it wasn't. I'm like that, I forgot about that one.
That was like so good, such a good answer. And obviously to kind of cap off, you know, in terms of a message, you'd love your clients, you know, people you know, to take away fitness, resilience, you know, making big life changes. What would that be?
I think it would be, you know, you're going to laugh at me, right? But I did think about this one, like, before I left. There's a book I absolutely love, and I loved reading it as a teacher. And it was Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Have you ever read it?
No, I've not.
You're like, no, Jill, I've not read a storybook. Come on.
To be fair, I might have surprised you. I don't know if Stu's probably read it. He's
Have
more
you
into
read it, Stu? Anyway, the protagonist, the main character in it, right, it's about the journey that you make in life, right? And first point is that they're like taking off, one foot's ahead of the other, and they then come to this stumbling point and they feel lost, and they come to like a hard time and they can't find their way. The other point is that they feel lonely, but you will get there. You just have to like take a chance in yourself, turn up for yourself. And if you're at the very, very start of your fitness journey, you're not sure what to do, get somebody to help you. Speak to someone to keep you accountable, to educate you, or educate yourself, you know. And go for it. There's no turning back. Once you've started, once you start to reap the benefits mentally and physically, you won't want to go back again. So whether it's a career change, or whether it's starting your fitness journey, or whatever it is, once you're on that path, it's not going to be straightforward. You are going to hit the stumbling blocks, but it's 100% worth it. So go for it.
No, love it. Listen, thank you so much for, you know, being so open in terms of, you know, your alopecia, motherhood, fitness, you know, the career change. I really appreciate it, because obviously it's not easy for people, I think, to open up in certainly those, you know, topics. So thank you so much. I really appreciate
thank you
it.
for the opportunity.
Yeah, and good luck with your events.
Thanks so much. Am I going to get you in? Will I get you some non-slip socks for the Pilates?
Me and Stu will be there.
Yeah, you're both going to be
Stu
there. I
loves his
like it.
pizza,
I'll get you an extra mat out, right?
Listen, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Take
I
care.
appreciate it.